Ladies and gentlemen, what's up? BC, welcome back to another episode of Supreme Being. Man, talk about being a man of your word and dealing with adversity. Man, I've been dealing with some shit lately. Just overall, right? Nothing crazy, nothing like, life challenging or anything like that. But it's cool to see your own evolution over the years and your ability to continue doing what you're doing and not let it affect your day to day. Because you guys know over the years, I've really stuck to practicality, keeping things simple. And, whether I'm working with my team, my coaching members, or on these free outlets like the podcast and YouTube, always giving people stuff that's really simple that they can implement, and always coming from that position of, hey, you can listen to me at any point, learn anything, implement it, get a good perspective, and take it from there, right? I named this podcast Focus on the Experience, and this is what I'm referring to, right? Everybody who interacts with you, everybody who gets touched by you in the world, right? They see you on social media, they interact with you in the real world, at the store, they see you on the street, it's your neighbor, right? They have, based on their experience with you, created basically a version of you, again, whether through minimal interaction or a tremendous amount of interactions, a mold, a character, a creation of what you are, how you affect them emotionally, how they rank you on the scale of society, right? Now, some of that stuff we have no control over, but a vast majority of it, especially the important stuff, emotionally, we have a tremendous amount of control on how the experience that we have with other people affects them emotionally. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today, because there's many pieces to it, but that's one of the biggest ones. So I would ask you, are you focusing on the experience? When you talk to your neighbor, when you go to the store, when you're doing your business stuff and cold calling and door knocking and doing all the regular stuff, are you focused on that? Are you ensuring that people's experience with you is one of a kind? That's going to be a lasting one, a memorable one, an exciting one, whatever you want, right? Because it's up to you, obviously, being the creator of the experience, what you want it to be. Interesting point, huh? Now, we forget that sometimes, because in 2023, oh no, we know it all. That's so basic and blah, 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 right? This point is so powerful and true that a lot of people think what they see on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube is real. They think that's real life over what they actually experience in the real world. That's how backwards we are now. But when I say focus on the experience, meaning you're the creator of that experience, well, what are you doing? Right? If I went with you on your workday and asked you, what are you focusing on right now? What type of experience are you trying to create for the customers that you interact with, your current clients, right? This lead source, these random people, the individuals who come to this event, the people who show up to your shop. What's the type of experience that you're looking to grant them, to give them? Because then from there, you start getting some very clear answers. What you want your environment to look like, smell like, sound like, what your greeting or your employees' greetings are, what you offer people, how you guide conversations, how you deal with conflict in the workplace or with a customer or with the potential customer who's not even your customer yet, right? All these things start coming up, and organically, we can say, answer themselves, because you're focusing on it by asking the right questions, because the focus is, I want the experience. Now, this can be customer experience. This can be everyday person experience, my neighbor's experience. It doesn't matter. But when you focus on this, it turns life into a game, man, and it becomes a lot more fun. Because now when I go to the store, I can tell these stories, because the real kicker with this, right, is when this becomes naturally integrated into your life, you create the experience talking about your experience. That's literally what it is. Like I tell people, many of you could be out there, and if you were doing what you're supposed to do, getting your grind on, hustling, right, just doing the basic activities, those boring activities that you want to run away from and never want to do and keep looking for ways to get out of, right? If you simply did those and then talked about those things and experiences a certain way to the world, man, that in itself would create an experience. Like I would go out and tell people, right? I would talk to a checkout lady at the store, and just to strike up a different conversation, I would say, you know what, ma'am or sir, whoever it was, it's 3 p.m. How long have you been here today? Oh, I came in at 9. Well, in those 6 hours that you've been here, how many people do you think you've talked to and interacted with? Oh, I probably checked out, 50, 60 people or 100 people, whatever they say, right? And say, how many, by the way, would you say were rude or, maybe upset or not cool, basically? Oh, I don't know. I feel like everybody was nice today, right? I could say, you know what? And the reason I'm asking is I made a couple hundred phone calls today and talked to about 40, 50 people around the same as you. And I only encountered one person who was, maybe unpleasant or upset. And the interesting part is, I'm sure if I was to ask you before you got this job, you probably defaulted to maybe thinking that the average person would be a little upset or rude, huh? Based on what other people said. Now, all I'm doing is just opening conversation. Now, later on, right? Again, this is a store. This is a place that I frequent. So I'm going to see this person again, but it's going to be a different level of interaction, different level of relationship, different level of communication, right? And all I'm doing is talking about my experience and asking questions. Now, this dialogue that I'm giving you, I've done countless times, but it stemmed from a genuine curiosity for not only for me to express my experience and what I was doing, but also to connect with people. It's cool, right? They're not used to that. They're used to, hello, how are you? Good. How are you? Fine. That's it. They're not used to people actually conversing with them, asking them questions. This is the key, taking interest in them. But I want to focus on the experience. I want to brighten their workday a little bit. I want to make it a little better for both of us. I want to make my outing, we can say, even if I was only going to go to the store today and do one or two other little things, right? Maybe go to the office and not see anybody for a couple hours. I don't know. I want to make that experience, those 10, 15, 20 minutes, incredible. I want to make them incredible. Because again, if I focus on it, I can do whatever I want. Now, the beauty in this, y'all, and I'll give you some more examples here in a second, is when you learn to do this on the everyday little, what you deem insignificant moments like that, like when normally you'll go to the store and not even make eye contact with somebody, it naturally crosses over into your job, talking to people, building your business, where you think you have to suddenly be this other person and transform. But if you focused on the experience all the time and being aware, it would naturally just come to you after a while and you would just do this. This would be your automatic mode, even if you're listening to this saying, oh, it's not me. And I turn this into a game, right? And I always ask people, hey, if I hung out with you for a day, right? You have this business, you're in real estate, whatever it is. Do people recognize you? If I was to go out with you, are people going to like call you and refer to you by first name? These places that you go to, like the market, places that, you frequent, your everyday stuff. Do they know you? Because they better, bro. Otherwise, you're a secret agent. Your business is not booming. Everybody should know you. You should be that guy or that girl. But again, when you focus on the experience, you want that. Every single one of you who runs a business, whether it's an individual one, a group one, an organization, you would want raving fans. You would want everywhere you go, again, not for the ego boost of it, but for your business, you would want everybody to be like, oh, hey, that's Brian, the realtor. Like you would want everybody to know you. If you had the choice, you would say, hell yeah, I want everybody in town to know me, right? But how do you do that? By focusing on the experience. How can you connect with more and more people every day to where after you do that for a year, 2 years, 3 years, most of the time, because nobody's perfect, right? Most of the time, these areas, everybody fucking knows you and has talked about you because everywhere you go, you touch people with incredible experiences, whether it's through dialogue, right? Your own character, how you dress. I mean, it could be a million things. Like this little Hawaiian shirt I have on for those of you watching the video. People love this shit. I always get comments from this type of stuff, but I love this shit. These are some of my favorite things to wear. Same thing with the crazy suits. Like I love this shit. I'll leave my house and come back and be like, nah, I got to wear this. I'm not just going to go out in fucking sweats. Fuck that. Well, it's too hot here anyway in Miami, right? I'm not going to do that. But you get what I'm saying. The experience too. I want people to approach me. I want to seem interesting to people. So when I talk to them, I also have a pleasant experience because, again, when you're the creator of the experience, you have to be able to deal with variables because a lot of times you might approach people or talk to them, and because they're not used to it, they may not respond the way that you think they're supposed to or how you would want them to. And my question would be, again, if you're focused on them and you having a good experience, how are you going to respond when they do that? I've asked people because I thought I recognized somebody. Oh, Jim, is that you? No. Do you know Jim? Because I could swear that, you look just like him, a guy that I went to high school with. And they're like, no. I'm like, all right, 0 for 2. Cool. And they'll laugh. And then I'll walk away. But that in itself was a little experience. And I can walk away like, hey, at least I didn't walk away saying, wait, I thought I recognized that person. I'm going to ask, right? If we remove all the social barriers and bullshit right there, you would ask because you thought that was somebody that you knew. Straight up, you would. So a lot of times this is just aligning. If we want to make it even, more simple, this is just aligning how we would live our lives without any blocks or roadblocks or bullshit compared to what we're actually doing. How many more people you would talk to, how many times you would speak up, right? New people that you would approach, maybe for the guys, girls that you would talk to, or girls talking to guys, or whatever it is, right? You got out of your own way. Judgment wasn't a factor. All the other stuff, right, that we deal with was gone. This would just be your true, genuine experience is really what it is. So by focusing on the experience, in essence, we're helping you get back to that, your more natural, raw state before all the BS got piled on, which, by the way, is going to lead to you being more fulfilled, living more in alignment with this. This is a little deeper now, right? This is why, like, my life, even though with everything I have, is like the most stress-free it's ever been. Like, it's incredible, man. No substance abuse, right? I eat super clean. Like, I'm extreme in quotes to a lot of people, but to me, it's not extreme. I keep pushing the boundaries of the epitome of living a as perfect as possible life in my estimation, right? And man, I couldn't be happier, right? And I'm figuring out ways to keep upping the ante over and over. And I want to bring more and more people with me. But this is one of those elements, y'all. I'm helping you get back to that natural experience that you would want as a human being before all the BS that all of us were unwillingly, granted, that we didn't ask for. Some good, but mostly bad. So I encourage you to embrace this. I encourage you to focus on the experience a little bit, and you'll start to see it's going to sprinkle a little extra in your life, your personal life, your business, your relationships, your friendships. And it's cool because now you start morphing into a better person who's now, at the very least, even if you really want to be that monk, you have the capacity to be, in quotes, the opposite, the life of the party, if you would like, if you desire. It's not that you say that you don't want to, but you really can't. You say, nah, I have been, I can be, I could choose to do that. However, by choice, even though I'm capable, I choose to be the monk. Now that's power. That's power. Right? Cool. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next episode. Peace.